Hello friends, back again with Melu new channel. This time we will discuss a very extraordinary character. The character is KH.Hasyim Asy'ari. KH.Hasyim Asy'ari is a great figure of Ulama in Java, and at the same time a national hero of the Republic of Indonesia. KH.Hasyim Asy'ari is also widely known as founder of a large organization, namely Nahdlatul Ulama. Has the real name Muhammad Hasyim bin Asy'ari. Born in the village of Jadong Jombang, East Java, on 24 Dakota 1287 Hijriah or February 14, 1871 AD. His father, KH.Hasyim Asy'ari, came from Demak and was the founder of a strict Islamic boarding school in Jombang. And his mother named Halima is the daughter of KH Usman, founder of Jadong Islamic boarding school. Someone who has a religious family background, KH.Hasyim Asy'ari studied religion from an early age. KH.Hasyim Asy'ari was a child studying religion from his own family, and when he was 15 years old KH.Hasyim Asy'ari started exploring several Islamic boarding schools in East Java. From the Wanakoyo Islamic boarding school in Probolinggo, the Langadin Islamic boarding school in Tuban, to the Kadimangan Islamic boarding school in Madura. KH.Hasyim Asy'ari also studied in Mecca, Heresy under the guidance of Sheikh Mahfuds from Tremas Pacitan while in the Hijaz. There are some very interesting and legendary stories when KH.Hasyim Asy'ari stayed in Kadimangan owned by Sheikh Onakolo Bangkol on Madura. Sheikh Onakolo was known as the guardian of the Poles of his time. His karama was very much and was widely known by the public. KH.Hasyim Asy'ari when he was staying in Kadimangan did not have time to study the Quran to study with Sheikh Onakolo. KH.Hasyim Asy'ari was only a courtier of Kadimangan in charge of taking care of Sheikh Onakolo's horse. When Ms. Hasyim wanted to take part in the Quran, she was always ordered to help with Sheikh Onakolo's household affairs. KH.Hasyim never questioned or rejected what Sheikh Onakolo ordered. Whatever is told to do something must be done sincerely and responsibly. There is a story in the book of Fiqhul Hikayat. One night there was heavy rain. In front of the courtyard there was an old man guest who could not walk or was paralyzed. The guest walked in a sliding way. Sheikh Onakolo said to all his students who are studying, "Which one of you wants to carry my guest into the house?" KH.Hasyim immediately said, "I was willing to be a teacher," and immediately carried the guest who could not walk inside. Sheikh Ona welcomed the old man's guest with respect and reverence. Long story short, after completing the guest's needs, Sheikh Onakolo again asked his students, "Who wants to carry and escort my guest to their original place in front of the scene?" KH.Hasyim immediately said, "I was a teacher," and immediately carried and brought the guest back. When KH.Hasyim went to carry the guest, Sheikh Ona said to his other students, "Behold, my knowledge has been brought by him," while pointing at KH.Hasyim Asy'ari. Then the other students asked who really the guest was, the teacher? Sheikh Onakolo replied, "Indeed it is the Prophet Qadras." The students were shocked and regretted why they weren't the ones carrying the paralyzed guest. KH.Hasyim Asy'ari got an extraordinary blessing without realizing it. It's not enough that young KH.Hasyim Asy'ari also gains knowledge that is logically difficult for everyone to understand. It started when Sheikh Onakolo received a guest from a KH from Java who aimed to stay in touch and ask for instructions to find a mate for his daughter. This KH from Java has a boarding school that is not so big. The number of students is only a few dozen. KH asked Sheikh Onakolo for help to find a prospective son-in-law from among Sheikh Onakolo's students so he could continue his pesantren in Java. Without thinking, Sheikh Onakolo immediately called Hasyim loudly. KH.Hasyim Asy'ari, who at that time was behind the house cleaning the dung of the Sheikh Ona's horse, immediately rushed to face his teacher. KH.Hasyim Asy'ari arrived in front of his teacher and guests from Java with a stench of horse dung and modest appearance. KH.Hasyim immediately lowered his head and was ready to take orders from his teacher. Without thinking, Sheikh.Hasyim immediately spoke to his guests. "This is your prospective son-in-law who will continue your struggle." Suddenly the guest was very tense and surprised. He couldn't believe he was muttering in his heart, "Ah, a student like this can take care of my pesantren. I'm not sure this student has a lot of knowledge." At the same time KH.Hasyim was also surprised and muttered from his heart, "Ha! Yes, this beautiful girl, daughter of a noble cleric, wants to be matched with me." Like knowing the contents of the hearts of the two people, Sheikh.Hasyim immediately spoke. "You've gone home, 3 days left for the wedding ceremony. Prepare the salvation at your house. And you Hasyim come back." With a worried mind, KH.Hasyim thought in his heart, why the teacher didn't tell me beforehand, or at least offered first. How can I do it later? When his heart was constantly restless like this for 3 days before his wedding, KH.Hasyim couldn't sleep. After 12 o'clock at night KH.Hasyim remembered that his teacher had said to read as many sholawat narya as possible. And KH.Hasyim read as much sholawat narya as possible until he fell asleep before dawn. In his sleep, KH.Hasyim dreamed of meeting Imam al-Bukhari and teaching him authentic hadith for 40 years. Then KH.Hasyim woke up as if he couldn't believe what was happening in his dream. The next day KH.Hasyim did his usual activities until nightfall. Just like yesterday, KH.Hasyim could not sleep and repeated reading the Narya prayer until dawn. KH.Hasyim was tired and fell asleep. In his sleep, KH.Hasyim met Imam Shafi and taught him the books of fiqh from various schools, namely the Shafi school itself, Hanafi, Maliki, and the Hanbali school for 40 years. KH.Hasyim woke up and did the Fajr prayer. In the afternoon KH.Hasyim saw a thick book in the Kadimangan library while cleaning the place. When he opened the book, KH.Hasyim was surprised that he had memorized it outside the head of the thick book. The incident made KH.Hasyim surprised himself and did not dare to tell his dream to Sheikh.Hasyim, his teacher. On the third night, KH.Hasyim's thoughts became increasingly erratic because tomorrow he will go to Java to get married. The same as last night, KH.Hasyim recited Sholawat Narya and fell asleep again before dawn. In his dream KH.Hasyim met Imam al-Ghazali and Imam Junaid al-Baghdadi, who taught him the books of Sufism for 40 years. KH.Hasyim woke up and was full of questions. What is the meaning of all this? It was early in the morning. KH.Hasyim wanted to ask his teacher, Sheikh.Hasyim, about his dreams in the last 3 days. But there is no more time for KH.Hasyim. Instead, his teacher tells him to get ready to go and get married. Not even a word came out of the mouth of Sheikh.Hasyim on his way to Java until the marriage contract took place. Only after the marriage contract was completed and Sheikh.Hasyim wanted to return to Madura, he said in front of all witnesses and invited guests to Hasyim and his father-in-law, "Hasyim, don't stray, okay? Follow the worship that the Prophet exemplified through his scholars and follow God's scholars to be safe. God will be with you." To Hashim's father-in-law, Sheikh.Hasyim said, "Don't doubt Hasyim, he has been reciting the Quran for 120 years." Suddenly everyone was silent and could not understand what Sheikh.Hasyim meant. Everyone thinks this doesn't make sense. KH.Hasyim is not even 50 years old yet. How can he be able to recite the Quran for 120 years? Sheikh.Hasyim went back to Madura. Day after day KH.Hasyim passed at his father-in-law's house. The relationship between KH.Hasyim and his mother-in-law was so awkward. Until one day KH.Hasyim's father-in-law wanted to try KH.Hasyim's knowledge. A general study event was held in front of the pesantren with the thick books of hadith and tafsir. So many people and students were present, KH.Hasyim was not aware that this event was for him. Until the time came, KH.Hasyim was called to the front and told to explain the contents of the thick books of interpretation and hadith. KH.Hasyim was shocked and could not escape because there were already many clerics, guests, students and others. KH.Hasyim came forward very nervously and opened the books. KH.Hasyim was surprised that he had already memorized the books by heart. KH.Hasyim immediately explained very eloquently like Masyayik the contents and the contents of the books. Everyone present, including the cleric and in-laws of KH.Hasyim, who initially doubted the knowledge of KH.Hasyim, became amazed. Since the events of that day, KH.Hasyim Asy'ari's name has become known to the wider community. KH.Hasyim is also the one who teaches the classic books from various branches of Islamic religious knowledge. That's a bit of the story of KH.Hasyim Asy'ari, the founder of Nahdlatul Ulama. All cannot be separated from the karama of Shaykhona Kol, the teacher and the power of Allah SWT.